So.
Well, I would say that our very first date didn't necessarily start off as a first date.
What she probably doesn't know is I've probably had like 50 first dates in my head because I've known her since we were 12.
John and I had been friends since we were 12 years old, and we didn't actually start officially dating until we were 26.
And I remember just being like this friend zone guy, watching her have different boyfriends as we grew up and always complaining about those boyfriends to me. And I remember hitting a point finally in my life where I'm like, I just need to ask her out. But I did it in the most wimpy way possible because I was so scared.
Because we're such good friends, it wasn't unusual for us to hang out and to go do stuff together. And I remember he was visiting the Bay Area one time, and he calls me up and says, hey, do you want to go hang out? And I thought, yeah, sure, let's do it.
So I said, hey, do you want to have dinner tonight? You know, and she says, yes. You know, she's like, yeah, that's cool.
And I thought, yeah, bro, let's go grab dinner.
But in my head, it was like, yes, she loves me, you know?
So that night, he comes and picks me up from my parents' house, and he doesn't tell me where we're going.
And so I went ahead and I make all these arrangements, and I booked at this restaurant that my dad recommended, or he went to all the time, and it was like this really, really, really fancy restaurant.
When we go to the restaurant, right when I walk in, I thought, wow, this is fancy.
And then I kind of played this game where I was like, you know, if it goes well, then I can pass it off as a romantic date. But if it doesn't go well, then I was like, oh no, we're just hanging out as friends, you know?
It was all dim. There were little candles on each table, a little vase of flowers, and there were just a bunch of couples sitting all around. So very, very romantic setting. And here I am with my childhood best friend.
And I remember walking into this restaurant, it was so dim lit, there was flowers on the tables, you know, candlelight, you know, all that kind of stuff, and it was all couples and everything. And I remember, you know, just waiting for her reaction. As we walk in, I was like, oh God, you know, my hands were all sweaty.
So I thought, okay, well, that's fine. You know, I didn't think much of it.
And we sit down, and I remember somebody telling me always order oysters, so I ordered oysters.
I have no idea what I had, but I remember John had lamb because I don't like lamb.
And we had lamb and all that kind of stuff.
And I remember afterwards, we were just hanging out, and John suggested that we go to a movie.
And at the very end of the dinner was great. Nothing truly remarkable about the dinner itself. I paid, I always pay. But I remember after dinner, after dinner, we were set to go home, and I think Jen had to go to work the next day. I don't remember, it was something to do. She was expecting to take her back home, but I didn't want what I thought was the date to end, you know? So just, we left the restaurant, we started walking around just a little bit, because I wasn't walking to the car, and we weren't holding hands or anything like that. We were still friends. And as we were walking around, I asked her, I'm like, do you want to just go watch a movie right now?
And I thought, yeah, sure, why not? Let's do that, right? Because, you know, as a friend, if you just want to hang out, yeah, let's just go hang out, no big deal.
And I remember going into the theater, sitting down, and to this day, I have no idea what the movie's about because I was so distracted sitting next to my childhood crush on what I was thinking my first date, her not even, I'm pretty sure she had no idea what was going on.
When we sat down, we just watched the movie and it was all good. There was nothing of it. I didn't think anything. And I actually was enjoying the movie when all of a sudden...
I was sitting there and I thought, man, this night's gonna be over. And I don't think she knows that I like her yet. So I gotta do something.
John's hand, instead of, you know, like in the movies, guys typically do this thing where they pretend to yawn and then they put their arm around the girl.
So I remember going like this, and I was sitting and, you know, peripheral vision, guys, you know, peripheral vision, every guy has it. And I was sitting there and I was just looking at her like this, not focusing on what was on the screen, but just looking at her like this, and her knee was up here. And I remember just going like this. I put my hand right on her knee.
He just puts his hand on my knee. And I thought, oh, this is not just hanging out.
And it was probably like sweaty as all heck, but the next thing I know.
And I'm sure in that split second, I had so many thoughts going through my head thinking, oh my gosh, is this a date? Is this not a date? Are we dating? Are we boyfriend, girlfriend? What's happening? And I go, but he's my best friend. So it's like our whole life just flashed before our eyes, and I thought, oh goodness, what's happening? And I had a decision to make. And so, long story short, I put my hand on top of his hand, and that was the beginning of our crazy dating, I guess, process or dating situation.
Is she puts her hand on top of my hand like this, and I was like, oh my God, we're gonna get married, you know, or just whatever was going on in my head. I was just like beside myself, you know, just like, I cannot believe she didn't push my hand away. And you know, that was you know, what happened at the movie theater. And then I think even leaving the movie theater, I think we held hands, and I think I dropped her off on the way home at her parents' house that night. But you know, it's so funny because that was our first date, and it didn't start off in her mind as our first date, but in my mind, oh my God, what an amazing, amazing night it was. Unforgettable for me.
And now we're married almost 14 years, and it was a interesting start for sure.